11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. What a fight! I think Fernando won it.
Juan, the Hispanic causing panic, Lascano.
Thanks to those joining me live and those that be joining me on the archive, the style here. If you're listening on the archive, make sure you hit that like button. Check out the comment section and tell me what you think. We're going to be talking about Zuffa Boxing signing Conor Benn, which came as a surprise to everybody. And while I think this is a huge deal in the industry, despite some downplaying it. And of course, GoldenBoy still has no network. They were at court today with Virgil's team and some of the things that were said. We're going to go ahead and touch on those things. But look, man, I don't, begrudge anybody in this world, brother. Of course, it's the 20th of February, by the way. Just wanted to put that out there. Eddie Hearn is a little sad today. I'm going to play that. I mean, you remember yesterday Eddie Hearn was talking like with his chest out? And I'm telling you, bro, like this is actually surprising me in many ways, how quickly a lot of this stuff is moving. To be honest with you, I'm very surprised by how quickly things are moving. And we're going to touch on a lot of these things. Let's start with Oscar de la Hoya. A lot of y'all's favorite, promoter, right? I was a huge Oscar de la Hoya fan, bro. Look, check this out, right? Look at this, bro. Look. I even got the Oscar de la Hoya, little what do you call these Funko Pops or whatever the fuck they call them? All right, I got these. Somebody gave it to me for Christmas. Like I was a big De La Hoya fan growing up, but my God, lately he's been so unbearable to me. I know a lot of you love him or whatever. You love his clapbacks or whatever, but I'm just not a big fan. I was gonna go over the clapback today, but we're not gonna have time. All right, we're just not. So what we're gonna have to do is just kind of move quickly here. And then something I want to play from De La Hoya, and then we'll go from there. All right? That's what we're going to do. Yeah, that's right. All right? De La Hoya being interviewed here by Fight Hype, and it was like a scrum that they were doing. All right? And we're going to do a little bit of a reaction to it. You know what I mean? Make sure I got the right. There we go. We got the right one now. That's right. We got the right one. That's right. All right. So this is Oscar de la Hoya, as one of my uncles used to call him that, and it would irritate the shit out of me. Oscar de la Hoya, right? Let's listen to this. What's that playing? Well, you're not gonna play or what? What's going on?
You created your own bout. People saying that he's going to come out with guns blazing and this and that, and we're going to show everybody how it's done. And you created your own bout, a Zuffa's belt. What is that? I mean, that belt is worth more or has more history than my Tom Ford belt or my Dolce & Gabbana belt. I think, no, it's worth more, my Dolce & Gabbana belt. But Don't say you're coming out with guns blazing and this and that, and you have done nothing. Nothing. You're just another promoter that came in with a new belt. Now you're fighting Jai Obatai for the Zuffa belt?
Look, you guys know I gave my thoughts the other day about the belts, right? I gave my thoughts on that. I'm not the biggest fan of the Zuffa belt being released right now. I'm not even a big fan of the actual belt itself. If you've seen it, it looks too pro wrestling-ish. I'm just not a big fan of it. So, but put that aside, is that all he's got? Like all these guys got is they came out with their own belt. That's so embarrassing. Oh my God. And they're fighting in a basement or in a garage. That's all they got. Like I'm not hearing any, or the other one is no one knows who these fighters are. There's like, that's it. That's it.
To me, that's embarrassing. It should be embarrassing for Jai Obatai because he's a great world champion.
So what's not embarrassing is that, what's not embarrassing is that Ryan Garcia got his ass beat by Rolly Romero and he got a title shot right away. That's not embarrassing to the sport. Try explaining that one to like a casual fan, like a casual sports fan. Try explaining to them, yeah, Ryan, he got his ass beat. He got dominated in the last fight, but now he's going to be fighting for the world championship. But it's okay because Mauricio's going to give the winner a $40,000 necklace. Okay. Let me go over the chat here, by the way. The Boxing Rule, how's it going, brother? I hope everything is good on your end. He's cheering for Zuffa. All right. He's saying in his H Money voice, shout out to Haplotype. How's it going, brother? Puerto Rican rum fighters are going to sign with whoever has the fight dates at this point, and Zuffa has the dates 100%. People aren't reading the room, bro. They're not reading the room. Like, it is what it is. I shed a quick tear for Eddie today. The Boxing Rule says. Shout out to Carl. It's up in flame, Mr. T. How's it going, brother? Easy. Tio embarrassed himself, too. Well, I hear you. I find his clapbacks entertaining in train wreck type of way, which is sad, considering how great he once was. He was a great fighter. I'm not going to take that away from him. Will always be a fan of the Golden Boy. All right, his run from the way he shred through divisions and his run at welterweight, 97 through 99, those were hell of years. And still had a decent run even after that, quite frankly. And the Vargas win, the Mayorga wins, and make big events, even in losing efforts with in the rematch with Mosley and the loss to Hopkins, and then of course with Mayweather and Pacquiao. But nonetheless, he was the money man for a long time. He brought a lot of entertainment to the sport, no doubt. All right. Oh shit! At least Austria knows Jai's name. If his fighter Zurdo doesn't know him, well, that's right. He doesn't know who he is. Ask Ryan. Ryan is telling the truth of his last fight with GoldenBoy, even though Austria says it's not. Well, we don't know. Look, he is lying, Ryan. We never know if Ryan Garcia is telling the truth. We just don't know that. All right? So this is what it is. You know what I mean? Haplotype says Zuffa is going nowhere. Haplo doesn't like the name Zuffa, right? I don't think anybody has ever sat down and said, man, I really love that name. You know what I mean? But it's just a name. Like, it's whatever. I care about the fights. I care about what are they going to deliver. And so far, being just 3 shows in, I liked what I've seen. So I'm not complaining too much. Obviously, that they have a long way to go. But they made a lot of strides. They have a lot of backing. They are the chosen ones in the eyes of Turki Al-Sheikh, and I'm going to touch on all of that in a little bit, okay? It's like that one promotion that did the Crawford fight, one and done. Bro, that's not even it, bro. Haplotype, you're out of the mix. You got this one wrong, brother. Like swing and a miss. Swing and a miss. Like it's not even close to being the same thing. It's not even close. MEZ, if Andy Ruiz was smart, he would try to sign with, I think he did sign with Zuffa. I think he did sign with him. Andy apparently is trying to get over there, or maybe he's trying to. Either way, I heard he was, but okay. They have the biggest budget in boxing today, 100%. What people need, I'm going to touch on all that, but let's finish listening to Austria de la, as my uncle used to say, de la Hoya.
Great person. I love the guy. But come on, how can you fight Jai Obatai for the Zuffa belt? That means nothing in this world.
I mean, if Jai's that guy, then what are you going to do about it? Austria, you're going to put Zurdo in the ring with him? How about you show Zuffa what's up, Oscar? How about you be like, yo, I got my GoldenBoy fight. We have superior fighters. I'm going to put Zurdo in the ring. Win, lose, or draw against David Benavidez. We're going to beat up that Zuffa champion. What a fake champion. How about you show us how much of a fake champion he is? Oscar? If you want to jump, jump. Oscar de la Hoya. How about that? Lastly, how about less clapping and more working? How about less clapping, right? How about less of that, Oscar? And more moving and shaking. And I don't mean in lingerie, by the way, no, not in fishnets. I mean actually like making business moves. You know? You don't have a network deal, Oscar. You're talking about Zuffa Boxing and worried about what they're doing. You're in their business. Like, why are you all brown nose and all over them? Why are you all over the business of Zuffa Boxing when you are in court? Like, one of your biggest stars, Virgil Ortiz, and I'm using this, I love Virgil, but star, not quite, but in today's era, maybe. But Virgil Ortiz wants to leave you. He wants a divorce from you. He wants nothing to do with GoldenBoy because they don't think you have anything to offer, Oscar. Oscar, you don't have a network deal, Oscar. Get a network deal. You're thinking about it. Well, nobody really saw. I didn't even know that there was a fight. He didn't even know there was a Zuffa event. Like who are we kidding? He didn't know anything about it, right? But nobody knows about your shows. I mean, I guess Tubi's gonna have to work. You know, maybe look. If you want to air your fights on D-Style Boxing, you could use my channel, brother. Right? Go talk to Fight Hype if you want a bigger channel. Like, you know what I mean? But that's what you're gonna have to do, Oscar. Oscar de la Hoya, where's your network? I mean, what's going on? What a joke. You got no network, Oscar. Oscar, where's your network? He's got no network. The zone doesn't want to, like, bro, they're trying to take away Virgil from him because they're like, this is the only asset this motherfucker's got. We just don't want to sign a deal with him. We have no interest in GoldenBoy. We don't need what GoldenBoy has to offer. Sorry, but for those that don't know, by the way, you know, they crunched the numbers, and the biggest mismatches for main events out of any promoter out there for a couple of years was GoldenBoy. All right? I think the average, like, don't take my word for it, but it was pretty high up there, like 21 odds or something crazy like that, right? And you know, I don't think they were that bad. And look, for what I'm paying the zone, they should have GoldenBoy on there. If I keep it a buck, right? Yeah, you should have GoldenBoy on there. Like, if they ask me, I'll be like, yeah, fuck yeah. It's for what you're charging me, shit. You better throw some GoldenBoy in there and some Tasman fighters and some, you know, give me some of those Japanese fights with Mr. Honda over there or whatever, right? Give me some, you know, give me some of that. Like, you know what I mean? What do you mean? A lot of those no limit shows that don't air anywhere but in Australia, you should be airing those. Like, for what I'm paying the zone, right? The zone, yo. The zone's out here, like, charging like they're the shit, bro. Like, nobody charges what the zone charges. Netflix doesn't charge that. No other app charges for any of that, bro. Right? if you add up what we pay every month, like we pay more than NFL fans pay. That's the most popular sport in America to watch their favorite team all year. Right? If they're out of market, like this is nuts. So yes, don't get me wrong, but nonetheless, they don't want you, bro. They're like, just give us Virgil. Like, we'll buy him out. Like we don't need you. We don't want you. Oscar, less of this. Ole! Oscar, where is your network? Oscarito, you're not lying if you're telling the facts. Oscarito, where's your network, bro? I don't know if you guys have read like the transcripts. They're on. I saw them on Twitter, and I wish I'd give the guy the credit that posted them. But, like, did you see the transcripts? Like, the GoldenBoy is right there, just arguing. Look, Virgil is vital to our business. If we lose Virgil, it would be detrimental to GoldenBoy. Like. It would literally destroy our company. This is why we want to. We cannot release him from the contract, and they're trying to leverage Virgil here, right? And I'll be honest with you. If you want my honest opinion, if Oscar De La Hoya wasn't being such a such a cock blocker, like if Oscar De La Hoya wasn't already cock blocking the Virgil Ortiz versus Boots Ennis fight, which we all want. Is there anybody in the chat that does not want that fight? Everybody wants that fight, by the way, but he's over here like making these unreasonable demands, like we want 60%. I'm here to fight for my fighter because I was a fighter. And since I was a fighter, I know that we want 60%. Like what are we talking about, bro? You want 60%. So you're cock blocking the fight we want, right? And I think that's not the only reason, but I think it's that they just don't want you anymore. They felt like they were stuck with you for a while. Like the only reason GoldenBoy had a nice contract with the Zone is because they leveraged Canelo. That's it, right? Motherfucker used Canelo to leverage himself into a nice, sweet deal with with the Zone for years, and then all he does is hate on Canelo for years, like a fucking jealous ex-girlfriend, right? That's it. But now you don't have a Canelo, to leverage your deal, right? And you thought that was Virgil was, and that's what Ryan. That's why you keep. That's why you keep saying, "Oh no, we still have Ryan." Like just like you had Munguia, right? You remember when Oscar said that Munguia was still with GoldenBoy, that it was fake news, that he moved on with Top Rank? Remember he said that? Well, what happened? I haven't seen Munguia back on the GoldenBoy show, right? So that was kind of interesting. I get he got knocked out, that good stuff, but it is what it is. Shout out to Chico. What does boxing look like in 18 to 24 months? Let me tell you something. Shit's moving fast. Really fast. And I'm going to quote Calix, who's gone missing, by the way. He's in the back of a milk carton. Like, nobody knows where Calix is. Like, you know what I mean? Like Calix is just like MIA, right? And as Calix has been saying for years, these boxing people, they're not serious people. Like real business people, right? Involved in corporations and making like real, like, multi-billion dollar deals and running businesses, Fortune 500s. They don't look at boxing people and really take them that serious, okay? It's the only people that take boxing business serious are the boxing fans, and don't take offense to this, please, that like they learned like little basics about how boxing works, and they think they're like the gurus, right, of these little echo chambers, because they get to talk to these boxing fans and they get to tell them, no, the reason you can't get that fight is because boxing's a business. You see, the reason Virgil and Boots can happen, even though you guys want to see it, is because you got to build up the fight. You got to marinate it. And this guy's the A side and this guy's the B side. And if you wait 4 or 5 years down the line, it'll build up the fight. The fight will become bigger, right? That's what they told us about Benavides' plant, and then it ended up bombing at the pay-per-view box office. You know what I mean? Like, well, that's why we couldn't get that fight for years. We couldn't get a unification because Samson said that he had to build up the fight, right? Like that's what Samson Lukowitz said. And for years, a lot of these boxing fans, and I was guilty of this maybe like 6-7 years ago, right? Being talked down to and being told that boxing is a business and you need to understand, and you, the fans, have no say. Remember, like for years, they were telling us that we have no say, right? And then other boxing fans would join in and tell us we don't have a say. Like, oh, because you guys don't understand, you don't have a say. And then they would give us these stupid pay-per-views with Tank that nobody would buy, right? And then Espinosa would tell everybody that no, these boxing fans don't know any better. These are really good cards, but if it fails, it's the boxing fans' fault, right? Because we're not giving them what they want, but in order to get what you want, you got to buy what you don't want, right? We had business people telling us that in order to get what we want, we need to first buy what we don't want, which is not how supply and demand works, actually. No other business functions that way. But we keep getting told that boxing is a business, yet it keeps losing business, right? They keep losing deals. They lost HBO. They lost Showtime. They lost ESPN. GoldenBoy, nobody wants him around. Top Rank, nobody wants him anymore. The ratings aren't worth it. So what you're looking at right now, right, this is a hostile takeover. People, it hasn't hit them yet. It hasn't hit them yet, bro. This is a hostile takeover. Hostile. All right? Excuse my Mexican accent. All right? But you know what I mean. Oscar, ¿dónde está tu pinche network deal? Like, where's your network deal, bro? How about you focus on your business, bro? You know why Oscar doesn't really know the details of the contracts? Because, like, Eric Gomez handles all that shit, bro. Right? Like, Oscar De La Hoya, for years, that's why he, like, when Canelo says he wasn't even around, he's not lying. Oscar doesn't even deny it. Like, yeah, I was at my lowest. I was doing coke, and I was wearing lingerie, and I was using the spatulas in ways that no human being should ever use them. But it's kind of a miracle I could still walk straight. But let me tell you something. I own up to it. So since I make fun of myself about it, you can't make fun of me about it either. The whole 8 Mile bullshit. Have you guys heard the 8 Mile theory? That if you have some embarrassing shit about yourself, that if you say it yourself to the world, that it can't be used against you anymore. Oh, he already said it about himself, so he took away all your material. Like, no, that's not how it works. What are you talking about? Brother, you're using the spatulas and shit in ways you should have been using them, brother. Like, just because you fessed up to it doesn't mean it's not embarrassing. But I don't want to go there, right? Let's just move it on. Oscar De La Hoya, right, has so much to say, right? But this happened today. Let me show you guys what happened today. And it's a glorious day. Conor Benn.
Yes, people, what's happening? Just finished training, getting hard graft here at the UFC facility. What a facility. More importantly, I'm excited about his future. Let's go.
Now, you know what's astonishing? Never mind the fact that they signed Conor Benn. And I'm not here to tell you, oh, Conor Benn. But here's the thing. Dude, you'll hear Eddie in a little bit if you haven't already, but Eddie Hearn, okay? Yo, Eddie. What really impressed me about this, and how you know it's like a wild oil machine, nobody saw this coming. Usually leaks come out, and that tells you how, like, the boxing world is just filled. It's just filled with a bunch of rats, bro. It's like filled with them, right? Bunch of leakers and rats, like people that just come out, oh, sources told me, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just filled with them, Like the shit I hear that PBC's about to do this and GoldenBoy's gonna do this and Top Rank's do, and then people, they just like cheese muscles all over the place, right? They can't keep a secret to save their life, right? Because these are not serious people putting this stuff out there. Shout out to LT, by the way. Hope everything's good and all that good stuff. But like I'm telling you right now that like we're gonna wrench up LT and Mr. T. Hey, that rhymes. That actually rhymes, right? And I showed you we've come a long way. Like me and LT used to be like mortal enemies. Now he's like wrenched up. You know what I mean? But shout out to him. But with that said, let's just. I mean, I was in his mortal enemy a bit, but it's another story. But we're not gonna go back there. But, like, that's what impressed me the most. Nobody saw it coming. Like nobody. I didn't see it coming. Eddie Hearn didn't see it coming. Coppinger didn't see it coming. Like nobody saw it coming. Like this was like, yeah, you know what I mean. And I think one of the reasons, I know Eddie made a big deal because he didn't get a call, right? It does look like one. I don't like it. I don't like the pro wrestling look for a boxing world title. I don't like the fact that it says boxing on it. Boxing world. I just don't like it, but whatever. You know, but that was the best part. All right. That was the absolute best part. Look, this is what happened. This is how Conor Benn got hit. Yo, Eddie's got killed. Eddie! Right? And by the way, Janabe got suspended by the WBO. Okay. All right. Whatevs. Whatevs. All right. So, if we have time, we'll talk about Floyd Mayweather coming back in a little bit, though. All right. We'll talk about that. Shout out to Mr. T. And here's my two guys. Ryan is going to leave. Virgil's trying to leave, and Zurdo's going to lose. Like, GoldenBoy's in trouble, bro. All right? We'll play this in a little bit, but first, let's listen to this. Somebody at the violin. Anybody in the chat know how to play a violin, by the way? I mean, I'm just saying. Right? Let's get the violin out.
I blame myself because I just...
Hey, remember the way Eddie was talking yesterday? I'm my own boss. Matchroom, what's up? Like you know, he was throwing a gang sign, Matchroom, and what's up, mate, and you're trash, and this and that, and the fighters, and the storylines, and the ambition. He was talking about ambition and all this other stuff. Look, listen to him.
I forgot it was boxing, you know? And I was like, I just felt...
Bro, he's talking the way, like, this is how I talk. Like, this was me. Like this was me, like, when, like, my girlfriend broke up with me in high school, bro. That's how I was talking. And my uncle's like, ¿Qué pasó, mijo? No, pues, te había hecho caso. Tú me dijiste que no me enamore. No te hice caso, tío. Like, that's what Eddie sounds like right now, bro. All right?
that the loyalty that we've shown would never ever put us in this position.
Yo, this dude is like, he's talking like he trusted a broad, bro. He sounds like he tried to turn a hoe into a housewife, is what he sounds like right now.
And I just felt that I never really needed to push Conor Benn to sign a new contract previously. And I probably could have got him to sign a new contract previously. But I just, and I, like I said, I blame myself. I made a mistake because I misjudged the character.
But listen to his tone. And I want you, because dudes are out here like, it's not a big deal. It's only one fight contract. And like, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's a big deal. It's a really big deal. Listen to Eddie, bro.
And again, I'm not going to hang him out
He didn't even leave his bedroom to talk about this. Look at this.
to try. And he will say, well, it was a big offer. But, you know, when I received the email from his lawyer, I texted him and said, I think we should have a call. I think you...
Oh, he just texted He didn't call him, bro. Oh, my God.
For everything I've done for you, I think I deserve a call. And he said, no.
Pero tú, que me has dado falsas promesas de amor.
And I was like, man, fuck. I can't believe it. And, you know, I don't know what to say other than
God damn, he's heartbroken, bro. I'm sorry. Holy shit.
You know.
He's also embarrassed because he knows how he was talking just yesterday. Like that's the other thing. Like on top of that. The main thing's going to be like Conor Benn signed with Zuffa, another promotional company, but didn't call him, you know what I mean? Broke his heart. But or whatever, right? But like the other thing is he's embarrassed on top of that.
Felt that everything that we gave him, the loyalty that we gave him, the support we gave him would be enough to talk it through or just, you know, get close to a number but it wasn't really the interest. So very, very surprising. Very, very painful.
God damn.
But just another moment in life that you live and learn from. I don't really know what to say, really.
If they could take Conor Benn, they could take a lot of guys. I'm going to just put that out there right now. If they can take Conor Benn, there's a lot of guys they could take. Conor Benn is arguably the second biggest star of Matchroom. The second biggest. You better watch out, Eddie, because if Dana wants to, if he feels like it, he could take Sky Nicholson too, by the way. Right? And I don't know how you're going to cry about that one, but I'm just saying. If Dana feels like it, he'll take Sky Nicholson too, bro. You better hope he has no interest in women's boxing. That's the next stop. Now, he still has Anthony Joshua, right? But Anthony Joshua just came off. It took him 8 rounds to get rid of Jake Paul. And the fight before, they got knocked the fuck out by Daniel Dubois. So he's kind of in the last legs here, right? This was a rough day. Like, this was the second biggest star of Matchroom. And he found out today that like the tree you're barking up on, saying, hey, like, let me explain to you guys what happened. The guy who was talking, it's kind of like remember, like let's say you were back in high school or whatever, right? Or even today, you're talking shit to a dude, you're talking mad shit, right? And then you find out that your girl left you, right? She doesn't even call you, she texts you. She's leaving you, and then you find out through your friends and on social media as she's dating that dude now. Right? So that's essentially what happened. That's how he's feeling right now. Man. I mean, Eddie Hearn, honestly, took a beating here. And I'm telling you, this is the same energy. Should I play this or not? Should I play it? Now I'll get copyrighted, bro. But you've seen this scene, right, with Tony Montana? I think I could play it for no, I'm not going to play it. There ain't no way I'm going to play it. No way. But look, Talk Sports just spitting facts on Eddie Hearn's face, by the way. I've been saying this for a while, right? When Calix and I were doing shows, we've been preaching this stuff. But now the mainstream is catching on to it, right? So I want you to listen carefully here. And look at Eddie's posture when he gets grilled here with nothing but facts, right? Nothing but facts.
Acquired knowledge. If he can acquire the knowledge to make fights that you guys can't make, he can acquire the knowledge to put on events that you guys put on. So with the scale of budget and with the scale of opportunity that they have, they can turn your lights out if they feel like it. Now, whether they want to or not is a different matter, whether there's any benefit in doing that. But to suggest that acquired knowledge is not something that's within their reach when they can make fights that you have readily said that you and Frank couldn't make for the last 10 years. They just walked in and decided that you guys are going to do as you're told and that you're going to bring fights to them in the way that they want them to bring. They're now going to tell you what they're going to pay on pay-per-view. Whether they get their possible broadcast or not is a different matter. They're now going to tell you when these fights happen and how they happen and who gets to fight. So I don't think that's an unreasonable observation for me to say to you that if they want to, they can do what they want. If you're an events company, they can do what you do. And they can acquire the knowledge, whether that's acquiring your business or acquired knowledge. If he can acquire the knowledge to make fights that you guys...
Let me break this down for you guys, okay? And I'm sure you got it, but I need to talk. So, but for those that don't quite get it, right? Especially, and I'm not talking about the chat, by the way, but a lot of the dumb fans, you know, like on Twitter shit that eat crayons and still argue with this shit. What these boxing promoters do is not that impressive, right? Not to big business, not to big corporations, not to these networks. It's just not that impressive to them. All right? And Eddie Hearn, if he believes that Zuffa or the Saudis cannot do little small shows like he does, 30 of them a year, whatever it is, if he thinks that they cannot do that, they can't take over that. Like, if you think you're not replaceable, in other words, you are sadly mistaken. You are very replaceable. And what have I been telling you guys for the last year and a half? And I'm telling you right now, at some point, Calix has to come back because we got a lot of preaching to do. Okay? And you guys need to really, really get this. Okay? You notice how all these promoters don't call Turk Al-Sheikh His Excellency anymore? Oh, His Excellency. His Excellency. Remember they couldn't stop calling him that? You remember? Oh, His Excellency, His Excellency. They were all trying to curry favor with him. When he invited De La Hoya on board, right? Like all of them that try to fight him, he eventually bought him out somehow. Right, and they ended up like bending the knee, every single one of them, right? Some of them got on board right away. Why? Because of the money, right? Immediately. All the fights were told for years that can be done. The Saudis came in, they overpaid for them. Here you go, here's premium money. Boom, boom, boom. And you know what they did? They turned these promoters into middlemen. Remember De La Hoya? Like, oh, no one's going to come to my country. Nobody's going to come to my country. And then what happened? He jumped right on board. He sold the ring to Turk Al-Sheikh, right? So he gave up that chess piece. And then, do you remember like when he got to do that Latino fight night, like in Saudi Arabia? Because that's what he used to smooth them in, right? And Austria thought it was special, right? He couldn't stop talking about it. Go back and listen to his interviews. You see, just me. The other Riyadh season, it was a lot of promoters, but this card, it's just me. I'm the only one. Because Turkey knows that I used to be a fighter and I know what I'm doing, right? But surely enough, Oscar was just another dude that got slapped around, that bent the knee, that kissed ass. They call him His Excellency, right? And that's just what that is. Commissions put him in the Hall of Fame. The sanctioning bodies gave him Man of the Year awards. All these media, sites were calling Turk Al-Sheikh the face of boxing over Canelo. He's the real face of boxing. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Like okay. Like, do you get what I'm saying? And now Turk Al-Sheikh has become the bully pulpit, is what he's become. Take a mortal man, put him in control. Watch him become a god. Let heads roll. Right? That's Megadeth. Right? You guys put this dude on a pedestal. You openly, in front of the world, humiliated yourselves, right? And groveled at his feet. And now you think he's a bully pulpit now. You can't act like a bunch of tough guys now. Now the lawyer's like, yeah, I'm teaming up with Heyman. And we're going to do fights here in America. And the ring doesn't matter no more. It's about the WBC. But you don't have a fucking network deal, brother. Austin the lawyer speaks like his words can part the Red Sea. Yet, he can't even find a network deal with his words. He can't even get one of his fighters in line to believe in him. They're trying to leave him. Ryan's saying, I'm leaving after this fight. Virgil wants to fucking leave. Zurdo's about to lose to Benavidez. The writing's on the wall. The writing's been on the wall. The reality is, these guys got no juice. They can't talk with their chest puffed out. They can't. You just can't do it. Everyone saw you cook yourself to this dude. You cannot now try to be an alpha male. It can't happen. You grovel. I'm not talking like they showed them respect or they were appreciative. Those things are normal. They went over the top. Oh, Turk Al-Sheikh. Turk Al-Sheikh. He had Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn holding hands, bro, like the Beatles song. I want to hold your hand. I want to hold your hand. But I want to tell you. Like Turk, he came in and he got us in line. He put us in line. Well, with a whip or what? They threw money. They threw coins to the ground. You motherfuckers dove for them. Your fighters openly revolted against all of you. And then Turkey gave them what they wanted. When Devin Haney showed up late, right, and openly just talk shit to Eddie Hearn about not getting any tickets and didn't like the tickets that he gave them, Turk Al-Sheikh hooked him up after he humiliated you on Twitter and insulted you. Turkey put him front row. You think that's by accident? That's a power move, bro. Okay? That's what that is. Teofimo Lopez wasn't answering to Top Rank anymore. He didn't give a shit about what they had to say. Rick Marizian didn't. He stopped caring about what Oscar has to say because he knows the money comes from Saudi. That's why they're holding out. This is what's happened. You've become Lou DiBella. You are now, look at me, you are now the middleman. You are Lou DiBella. That's all you are. So listen to this again, and it's going to make a lot more sense because Talk Boxing here, this host, is preaching.
Acquired knowledge. If he can acquire the knowledge to make fights that you guys can't make, he can acquire the knowledge to put on events that you guys put on. So with the scale of budget and with the scale of opportunity that they have, they can turn your lights out if they feel like it. Now, whether they want to or not is a different matter, whether there's any benefit in doing that. But to suggest that acquired knowledge is not something that's within their reach when they can make fights that you have readily said that you and Frank couldn't make for the last 10 years. They've just walked in and decided that you guys are going to do as you're told and that you're going to bring fights to them in the way that they want them to bring. They're now going to tell you what they're going to pay on pay-per-view. Whether they get their possible broadcast or not is a different matter. They're now going to tell you when these fights happen and how they happen and who gets to fight. So I don't think that's an unreasonable observation for me to say to you that if they want to, They can do what they want. If you're an events company, they can do what you do, and they can acquire the knowledge, whether that's acquiring your business.
The Ring has subsidized all of these motherfuckers for the last 2-3. Most of the biggest fights we've gotten are because of the Saudis, right? And they've paid premium money for it, right? And you know what? You know what happened? Turki Al-Sheikh essentially became a sugar daddy, right? And all these promoters openly and gleefully became sugar babies. That's what happened, all right? These, as Calix would say, these non-impressive people became sugar babies in the process. Put them in the Hall of Fame. They put this dude in the Nevada Hall of Fame when he had not even done a show in Nevada. They groveled at his feet. Like, what are we doing? Now they want to act like a bunch of tough dudes? They've been subsidizing you. I don't give a shit if you do independent shows aside from the realities and cards. At the end of the day, they've been subsidizing all your big stars. And they're the reasons, not you, that the fights happen. And you know what else happened? Well, the sugar baby can never really tell the sugar daddy what to do with their money, right? So the Saudis have partnered up with TKO. And they want to create a more sustainable long-term model. Whether it works or not, we don't know yet. We don't know. You may think it's not going to work. I may think it is, or somewhere in the middle. That aside, they have some very serious backing here. Very serious. They have a network deal with Paramount. I want to remind you guys, Paramount, okay, is where Showtime, they absorb Showtime. Paramount is the company that said, yeah, this Showtime boxing, we don't want it. It doesn't, like, for what you guys are paying with that budget and for the ratings it's getting, we don't want it. Less than a very small percentage of Showtime subscribers actually watch Showtime boxing. We don't want it, right? Now, look, if you don't want to hear me, just give you the truth. If you want to go hear people that are going to give you a nice song and dance, if you want people that they're going to tell you what you want to hear, and, oh, no, man, boxing's where it's at. These networks are in the wrong. Zuffa ain't shit. The boxing's doing just fine. And like if that's what you want to hear, you're not going to get that here because that's not the truth. The inconvenience truth right here. My last name might as well be Gore. D-style Gore. So here's the reality. That same company, Paramount, looked at these sharks, because that's what they are. They're sharks ruling over oceans. The people that run TKO Sports say, yeah, those are serious people. With Saudi backing, let's do it. Yeah, okay, we'll do a 3-year deal with you. We'll give you the dates. We'll open you up to our 70 million subscribers. 70 million and one with Carl, right? We'll open that up for you. Meanwhile, Top Rank can't get a fucking network deal. GoldenBoy can't get a network deal. Matchroom did get a renewal, right? So shout out to them. I think that has more to do with the UK than what they're doing with Matchroom USA. But that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's getting very real. No Limit. If we go to Australia, No Limit used to have this sweet exclusive deal, right? But you know, I don't know how some of those pay-per-views sold with like with Sam Goodman and stuff. I don't know how those pay-per-views did, but I'm sure the Zoo ones do okay and all that. But now it's that main event company got bought out by the Zone, and now Matchroom has a deal there, so that there's no exclusivity for them anymore. Now they're going to have to share that small pond over there. It is what it is, right? I know Australia's big as fuck land-wise, but population-wise, it's small, right? So don't take offense. I'm just saying, right? What do you mean? We got New Zealand too. I mean, that's even smaller, but you know what I mean, right? But small, but loud and proud, though, right? So shout out to Australia, ladies and gentlemen. That's Paramount. They looked, these are very serious people that run Paramount and say, you know what? Yeah, we'd rather work with these guys than Stephen Espinosa. All right? We'd rather do that. Yeah, that actually makes more sense for us, right? So what are some, and let me play this and then so I can give the rest of my commentary, right? Let's get a load of this shit, all right? Get a load of this. All right? Get a load of this.
Money are they kind of offering these guys?
I mean, you know, we matched it.
Yeah.
So, like, if it was really, really crazy and a number that just doesn't work, then we might not have matched it. You know, we love Bam. We've been with him his whole career, and sometimes you have to make these decisions. So they're going to have to do some crazy stuff. The thing is, when they do the crazy stuff, like what they offered Bam Rodriguez and what Bam Rodriguez is getting paid is 5 times more than.
By the way, I'm not sure if this is a hypothetical. Like, I haven't heard about Bam signing with Zuffa. That would be nuts. But I just want to put that out there. I have no idea if anybody knows, and it is what it is. I think he's talking in a hypothetical sense.
Some of the biggest UFC stars. The UFC stars are going to start revolting when they're going, I just don't understand how this is working. You know, I'm selling out to T-Mobile. You know, I'm doing a huge viewership on Paramount, and I'm getting 5 times less than these fights. I don't, like, you know, that's when the problem's going to come. But they've got to make a mark somehow.
So this idea that Bam Rodriguez makes 5 times more than the UFC fighters, like the top fighters, right? Look, I know, I forget the name of the dude that made like $3 million in the last main event. I don't think Bam makes $3 million, bro. And if he does, it's definitely not 5 times $3 million. Okay? So like Eddie, when he said, Jai made $900,000 in his last Real season card, when that Patty dude made like $1.5 million, like they're gonna revolt, mate. Like what? But here's the other thing. Here's the important part, right? What the fuck do you care? Like if some UFC fighters get mad, like so what, right? Yeah, he signed with Bam, right? Yeah. I thought he did sign with Matchroom. Yeah, that's true. So, Haplotype, I don't think you're right about that, brother. The Renaissance, when was the Renaissance? Was it a printing press in Italy? I could be wrong about that, but it's not here nor there. But all that, it is what it is. So, but what I will say, Haplo, is that most American inventions were done by immigrants that came from other parts of the world, right? So let's kind of, you know, I get this whole American exceptionalism thing, but, you know, I'm just saying. But with that said, what the fuck do you care, right? What do you care what these fighters are making? What is it to you guys? These fighters, they have their managers, they're like, what do you care? Plus, you can't make up your fucking minds. Oh, Zuffa, they're not going to pay the fighters anything. They're going to rip off the fighters, and then they give Conor Benn a 8-figure payday in a fight contract, right? For a fight. And then it's, the UFC fighters, they're going to revolt. They're going to revolt. Like, well, Conor Benn obviously sat down with his manager and his promoter, with Zuffa, and said, "Look, this is what I generate. Look, brother. If you want me to sign, is what I want." And Zuffa agreed to those demands. You get what you can negotiate. Conor Benn, you don't need to like Conor Benn, but he's worth that amount because he's a big draw in the UK. All right? Market value. That's what it comes down to. All right? If it wasn't to me, man, all of this shit wouldn't be disclosed. I don't know why this is public anyway. What the fuck do you care? Nobody's asking you what you fucking make when you flip burgers and how much money you're making. Well, what do you care what Jai is making? Right? I found that it's really unserious people that care about that stuff. Right? Like, yeah, I'm boxing. We make more money. but like this whole, like the UFC fighters are going to revolt and who cares? Who cares what the UFC fighters do? Why do you care? Like, I thought you were concerned that Zuffa doesn't pay. And now that they're paying, now you're concerned about the UFC fighters. Like what are we doing? Hey, boxing pro, are you just going to sit there and bleed? Were you neutered that bad when you were kissing up to His Excellency? What happened? They thought they were sharks, right? But Turkey, he took them out of their little aquarium and he threw them now they're in the ocean. And they realized, oh shit, I wasn't that big and bad like I thought. I wasn't that big and bad like I originally thought. So, it is what it is. That is what I got about that, guys. Man, look at that logo. By the way, if you guys, you don't have to, but if you want, the Hispanics Causing Panic t-shirt with that design, also the one with the Mexican cross and everything. I just haven't promoted it that much, but it's available for purchase, okay? I'll have some deals with some like to get a percentage off or whatever. And I still have the old Hispanic Causing Panic shirt as well. The original one, and that one is still selling, by the way. I still sell like 1 or 2 a week of those. It's clearly not boxing fans. I don't know. Like, I guess people see them on Teespring and they just like them. But if you guys want to check them out, there you go. The store's down there. And yeah, so Zuffa's not going anywhere, guys. I'm telling you right, they're not going anywhere. Haplo, you said that they're one and done. You want to bet on that? That they'll do more than 2 more shows, Haplo? You want to bet? Haplo thinks they're like Black Prime. What are we doing? What? If you want to bet, we could bet on it. Like, you know what I mean? But I don't want to bet you that. But just admit you're wrong. You know what I mean? But it is what it is, right? So I'm just saying, they're not going anywhere, guys. Nowhere. En ningún lugar. Eric Gomez, very unlikely, brother. I don't think. Have you guys heard anything I've been saying? The amount of backing, like the fights being at the apex, is by design, guys. They're starting them in the apex to get like their production down and stuff like that, and get the team, like the commentary team. I wish they were reel in Max Kellerman, but to get them used to each other, and they're using the UFC team. He says he's building the Zuffa team to build a production team, right? That's what that is. It doesn't cost them anything. It's their own facility. They get to air fights. I think the fights have been pretty solid. It's more boxing for me. The fights haven't been that bad. But that's by design. It's not that they can't go to the Hard Rock across the street in Las Vegas and in front of 400 people. They could do that if they wanted. That's not what they're doing right now. But as you could see with this signing right here of Conor Benn, Yeah, they're about to do a show in the UK. And Eddie's going to find out really quick. Yeah, Conor doesn't really need you, bro, to sell tickets. All right? They don't quite need you, brother. We're talking about an apparatus, right? TKO Sports, all right? Along with the investment of the Saudis. They're not playing games here. They're not. The same Saudis that gave us all the fights we wanted, they're the ones backing this shit up. They don't want a model forever where they're paying, in Eddie Hearn's own words, they're losing 200%, right, of the profit, which is not a profit. It's a loss. That's the backing here. I have my criticism about Zuffa that I don't like. I don't like the generic trunks. I don't like the fact that the fighters don't get to express their cultural or their personality, right? But, I mean, all I could do was voice my opinion about that. That's all I could do. But these fighters are getting paid extra money to wear Zuffa, the Zuffa robe, right? These fighters are getting paid. If they're the fight of the night, they're getting paid $50,000 extra each. Performance of the night, $100,000, and that's extra. They're giving opportunity to fighters that, like, if you really love boxing and you care about these fighters, like a lot of you out there say you do, then you would be very appreciative of how they're giving opportunity to fighters that these other promoters don't want. Oscar De La Hoya in his clapbacks, like, they're signing guys at the tail end of their career. They're signing guys that nobody knows, right? You condescending prick. They're signing the dudes that you won't put your fighters in the ring with because you're too busy building fighters. That's the problem with boxing. You're against the model that just puts the best available against the best available. You can't do that. You can't put two top guys in the ring with each other so early because you're going to ruin their careers. What are we doing? Just put everybody up against everybody. What the fuck are we doing? So I have things I don't like about Zuffa. I don't like the belts. I don't like I just don't like the belt, right? I don't like how it looks. I don't like the fact that they're releasing it right now. I don't like the generic trunks. I'm not even a big fan of the Apex, but I understand why they're in the Apex. But these boxing promoters be putting fights in these little ass arenas all the time, bro. Like, I remember HBO had Andre Barrow fighting in front of 200 people. But now all of a sudden they care about the fact that there's only I think it's 500 people, whatever the Apex holds. Like, all of a sudden they give a shit. I'm telling you, they're not playing games. I'm telling you, they're signing fighters that these other promoters don't want. Are you against that? Are you against those fighters? Like, Robert Garcia has fighters that were not being signed by anybody. And if they were fighting them for $2,000 checks. Now they're making, way more money than that, with the potential of getting bonuses. They're going to be active. They're going to be able to make a living, feed their families. You would think boxing fans would be all for that. You would think that's what, you know what I mean? These promoters don't have it all figured out. I've said this a million times. You think Maidana was supposed to be Victor Ortiz? No. That wasn't supposed to happen. That was an accident. But if Zuffa plays their cards right, they could sign their Maidanas, right? They could sign those undiscovered talents that these other promoters don't want, right? I care about fighters. Do you? Oh, but look at WBC. They're giving away a $40,000 chain. Wow. Only to designated main event fighters that are making millions already. Wow, what a great way to help boxing. Meanwhile, Zuffa is giving out $100,000 cash to performance of the night. So that fighter could buy his own chain if he wants. He could invest the money. He could get that money. He could buy his mom a house or whatever the fuck they want to do with it. Okay? Spare me. Let's read some of these comments. Ben no way is as popular as Khan. Well, I mean, I never saw Khan fight in the stadium, brother. What stadium did Khan fight in? I get it was, along with Eubank, but still. Like, he's a son of a legend, bro. Ask the dudes in Australia how big Tim Tszyu is over there. Like, it's just, when you're a son of a legend, it is what it is. Chavez Jr. sucked. He was the biggest. He was the biggest name in Mexican boxing until Canelo took that spot. Right? It just is what it is. I'm just saying. I'm not saying it's right. You know what I mean? Joshua, right now it's all good, and you're saying unserious people and whatnot, but give it time, and you'll see. The same thing that happened to UFC and WWE will eventually make it its way to boxing. Like, what's happening with WWE? They're making record profits. And but I'm aware of the problem. I don't even watch wrestling anymore. Wrestling's had these problems. Like, that's something new. And I have a lot of issues with it. But what are you talking about exactly? And the UFC, they're selling out the T-Mobile. Just listen to what Eddie Hearn is saying. Eddie Hearn is arguing that the UFC fighters are going to revolt because they're more popular than boxers.
So let's see.
Just how big of money are they kind of offering these guys?
I mean, sometimes you have to make these decisions. So they're going to have to do some crazy stuff. The thing is, when they do the crazy stuff, like what they offer Bam Rodriguez and what Bam Rodriguez is getting paid is 5 times more than some of the biggest UFC stars. The UFC stars are going to start revolting when they're going, I just don't understand how this is.
Yeah, I think the UFC is doing fine, brother. Like, I'm not the biggest follower of the UFC, right? But they constantly do, pretty good gates. They constantly sell out arenas all over the country. I think they're doing just fine, quite frankly. It is what it is. Like, whether I'm not saying they're at their height, but like, they're not doing bad. They literally just got signed to like a $5 billion deal or some shit like that. Like, are you seriously arguing that they're doing bad? Like, what are we doing? So it is what it is. I understand that Zuffa's goal is a monopoly. I just want the fights, brother. That's what I want. We already had a monopoly. It was the Saudis. They got all these dudes together, turned them into middlemen, and they created a monopoly. Right? You're okay with that one. But what the Saudis are doing now is saying, you know what? We're going to invest in this company. Right? We got to change this model because we're paying way over market value is what we're doing. Obviously, there's going to be a period of adjustment. But if you want me to say that I don't want boxing to go into a model that applies market value, then you're not going to get me to say that at all because that's been the problem with boxing. That's why boxing doesn't have a network deal, a lot of these promoters. Because if you're going to pay a boxer, let's say $8 million to fight on ESPN, but it does less ratings than some regular basketball game or baseball game or softball game, right? Well, then Houston, we have a problem. For what we're paying, we're not getting these ratings. These guys are not worth that amount of money. I'm not against fighters getting paid. First of all, majority of fighters are not getting paid. That's the truth. The fighters that make all the big money, it's less than 1% of fighters. So take it as you may. All right? With that said, guys, that is all I really got, really, to be honest with you. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Okay. And I know Mexside is not going to like my take, but that's okay. Like, I mean, he's entitled to his opinion. You know what I mean? But At the end of the day, he's going to defend the WBC no matter what, but it's okay, right? One more thing, and then going to wrap this one up because I already have it up here in the fights tomorrow. So I just want to play this part, if I may. Let me get it up here. Like, bro, for those that have been watching boxing as long as me, right? Or since, think of the early, just think about the 2000s, the 2010s, and just think about Paulie Malignaggi, okay? Just remember him, okay? I'm not a big fan of this, bro. I'm just, look, I'm not even the biggest Mario Barrios fan, but
that doesn't mean it's going to be a great night for Mario Barrios. It means it's going to be a horrible night for us because that fight's going to suck. Because Barrios is still going to suck, but then Ryan is also going to suck, and then so the fight's going to suck. I am past the maybe I've been wrong about Mario, but I'm past that.
Look, he's called Mario Barrios the worst champion of all time, and look, that's rich coming from Paulie Malignaggi because Paulie was always the weakest link champion. And quite frankly, one of the worst in my opinion. He was a good fighter, but was he world championship material like that? I mean, the reality is he was just another guy that when he stepped up against elite competition, he got beat up. This is what it is, right? And Mario Barrios, I say the same thing. I don't think he's world championship material, but I don't think he sucks, right? And I just think this is a little too much, right? He's talking about he's a trash fighter like that. And I'll be honest, at welterweight, seeing how Paulie did against Pablo Cano, by the way, a fight I think he lost, how would he do it? Do you guys think Paulie would beat Mario Barrios? I'm just not too sure about that. That's what really got to me about this. You know what I mean? So that's all I got. All right. So that's all I got. Hey, don't insult Bradley like that. Bradley's that dude, right? Anyway, I'm out of here, guys. Peace.